When I say protect the queen, what does that make you feel?
You should always protect the queen.
Right.
The queen needs protection.
Right. That'll be the pheromones. Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Roger the Norquist.
And Nate has been lost at sea, adrift in a bottle. He was once again shrunk by, this time, a giant. He was trying to steal the magic harp, sung about by Jack the Giant Slayer and all those many tales, and he was shrunk down and put into a bottle and set adrift at sea. So if you find him, we think the word to undo the curse is pebble rabble. Pebble rabble.
Give that a try. If that doesn't work, just say it backwards.
And if that doesn't work,
yeah,
pop a cork in that thing, mail it to the radar. We will find a way to unshrink you. Nate,
are you out? Can you hear us? We will find a way to unshrink you.
He can probably hear us so loud. As we're chatting, this is being played into his bottle by probably the giant that kidnapped him.
Giant's a big fan, Chad, the giant.
And he must look double small to the giant, and the giant double giant to he. A terrifying timeline we've stumbled into, folks. Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco Boudoir presents The Blade of Dream Slaying. This 1.5 meter dull purple blade hangs delicately next to your bed in a beautiful lavender-scented quilted scabbard, waiting for the moment when it is needed. When exactly is that moment? You will know, child of Nod. You will know. The Blade of Dream Slaying by Monstroco.
I could have used this blade the other night. I had quite the horrifying nightmare, dude.
Yeah?
Like, here's what happened. I'm playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I read online that if I keep kicking the other character in the head, I will be transferred to New York.
Oh.
And the ghost will come at me. So I did that in my dream. I unlocked the secret New York stage.
Wow.
And then sure the shit enough, the ghost fucking starts chasing me.
Whoa, terrifying. In the game or in the real life?
In my dream.
But I mean, in your dream,
in the game.
Were you playing a game?
This is all in a video game. I'm still playing a video game. This is all on the screen.
Bonkers. Yeah.
And then
dream playing could have helped there.
And I just screamed to the point, like I literally screamed, and my lady was all like, "Roger, you okay?
Awaken." It's important to note that she can't use the Blade of Dream Slaying. You have to draw and strike true yourself, child of Nod. And then you'll wake up in a shower of dream plasm, and you'll be holding the sword, and you will have won. Slain your nightmares. My fiance had a dream about a pelican trying to get her the other night.
Same thing, could use that dream blade.
Snicker snack. Off goes its twirling head, Vorpal, etc. The Blade of Dream Slaying by Monstroco. What the fuck?
May I go first, Jordan?
Of course you may.
I have something I need to share with the people.
I've been using a gun for dream problems.
I don't think you want to do that. If you puncture if you puncture a hole in the wall of the dream, you're going to get explosive decompression.
Yeah, and even to do that, you would have to have special rounds, and just normal bullets won't do it. Get the Blade of Dream Slaying. It's much easier. You don't have to reload it. Right by the bed.
If you could, it will save you time and money.
Sleep armed with Monstroco.
My segment is not going to be about, well, it's a little bit about some dreaming. We'll go into it. I have for us a list. This is Roger doing a listicle this week. Provided by one YouTuber, Preston Dennett.
Okay.
Check him out. Subscribe to him. His YouTube has 40K subscribers. Give him a subscribe on there. Some fascinating, fun paranormal stuff like what we do, but more listicle wise.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's also not as funny as us. Let me tell you, they're pretty dry.
So few are.
And his work is entitled Examined by Extraterrestrials. 7 Shocking Onboard UFO Encounters.
Oh man, got examined.
And then I have a follow-up part of mine to help the common Pingo listener.
Okay.
So the first of the onboard UFO encounters is one called Turned Transparent, the onboard UFO encounter of Pedro Dima.
Oh.
Late one night, July 21st, 1968, Pedro Dima, a civil servant, walked along a street in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Without warning, he heard a humming noise. Moments later...
Normally there's a warning before you hear a humming noise. Warning, humming noise, imminent.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Moments later, a blinding light shone down on him from above. Seconds later, he was shocked to see a strange craft land next to him. A door opened in the craft and a group of very short humanoids came out. Pedro was frozen in fear and wanted to run. The little humanoids ran up to Pedro and quickly pulled him on board. I like the idea of traveling millions of miles to get to Earth. Technology the likes that we in our state of development can only barely conceive of. And they just kind of rush him onto the craft like Muppets, going like, come on, sir. Come on, mister. We have something to show you, and it involves a song. So he wanted to run. The little humanoids, instead of, but I guess the major point is instead of giving him the freezing ray and hovering him onto the craft like a lot of abduction stories, they just come out and kind of usher him on board.
Would you go if they were like, this way,
they're very insistent.
This way, sir, this way, this way, onto the UFO, please.
They're very insistent.
Excuse me, onto the UFO. Yeah,
I would do it.
I could see how that would overpower me. Somebody commanding me to do something, if I'm just like, I guess. Boy, what if they were wearing a badge or like a hat with, one of those like British lollipop lady hats with like the checkerboard pattern around it? I will do anything somebody says if they're wearing one of those.
Well, the story doesn't include that, but I suggest everyone listening add that to your imagination.
Yeah.
They questioned him extensively about his own life and the people of Earth. They then conducted a bizarre physical examination.
What's Macaulay Culkin up to?
Dude, it had to be all sorts of questions still like that. Like,
really? Kieran. Interesting.
So where are we? They questioned him about life, bizarre physical examination. After just a few minutes, they escorted him out of the craft, which zoomed off so fast that it left a trail of light in the sky.
Oh, real wham bam, thank you, Stan.
Very much so.
What if all they know about Earth is like pop culture, so it's all just like, it's like talking to like frat boys from like 2008, and they're just constantly quoting The Big Lebowski at you?
They That is a legitimate theory,
Paul.
because like how that theory works overall is that, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, everything was kind of carried over by radio waves. You know, the analog receptors would basically be shooting out radio waves, and your antenna would pick it up and blah blah blah. That's what you would be using to see television, but it would also be sending that out into essentially 360 degrees to where we were shooting a lot of these transmissions off into space.
Yeah, sure.
So them being picked up, you know, they're watching Friends. I mean, let's start early. They're watching your Lucy and Ricky, whatever that was called.
That was called I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy.
He loved
Thank
Lucy.
you.
Up until the divorce.
Yeah, and then you got your MASHs they were watching, your Cosby shows, your Family Matters.
Forged in Fire.
Aliens love Martin.
Martin.
That's my theory that I want to be known for. The Martians love Martin theory.
Yeah. My favorite Martin. Remember that one? Where Martin Lawrence played a Martian whose name was also Martin.
But anyway, that's a solid theory to where like aliens, if they know a bulk of what they could know about us is our pop culture references, and they could come down exactly asking not take us to James Bond, but when they try to communicate with us, all their analogies could be like, this is similar to like when James Bond wanted a new device from Q.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah. Yes. Thunderball.
So that is the onboard encounter of Pedro Dima. Now the next one is...
He is like the Bart Simpson. He is filled with mischief and troublemaking. Were I like Homer, I would extinguish your life with a throttle.
The next one is called the Alien Wand. The onboard UFO encounter of Laszlo Bako.
My alien wand. That's my favorite bad dragon prosthetic wiener.
All this is supposed to be in Hungarian names, so bear with me. 5-year-old Laszlo Bako had
Have you seen those though? They're like dildos made in the fashion of like fictional animals.
Oh yes, it is.
Be like, this is what a dragon stick looks like.
And you're like, actually, they have cloacas.
Oh, bummer. Anyway, go ahead.
So in 1953, before we could even conceive of the genitalia of dragon folk, 5-year-old Laszlo Bako had a face-to-face encounter with a smiling and friendly gray-type ET outside of his home in Tezacszege, Hungary.
Oh, okay.
But it was 21 years later, in August 1974, that Laszlo was taken from his home in Debrecen, Hungary, into a UFO. On board, Laszlo was met by a strange humanoid that showed him a metallic wand, seemingly to demonstrate it. The next thing Laszlo knew, he awoke sitting up in bed. Next to him on the table was the weird metallic wand.
Oh. Dang.
This device had a row of small bumps along one side, a triangle with an eye that flashed holographic colors, and had a green light coming out of one end. Laszlo was so overwhelmed that he hid the rod by burying it in his backyard.
Yeah?
That's
a weird instinct. Does it happen to mention if Laszlo was a dog?
No. Right now, Laszlo seems to be human enough.
Yeah.
But I don't get quotes from it. If it was quotes, it'd be hilarious. And Laszlo said, bark, bark.
Bark, bark, and buried the thing in the yard. Laszlo suspected it was cats that did it.
After another dramatic encounter, which doesn't go on to be described, Laszlo decided to hand the wand over to researchers.
Okay.
I don't have any research on this, but supposedly there were 4 major studies on the device, and each one showed that the device was composed of almost 100% pure magnesium. We're talking 98%, 99%.
Sure.
I'd even give it a 92%.
Dang, this motherfucker is magnesed.
Now, the intimate relations with an ET, the onboard UFO encounter of Liberato Anibal Quintero.
Liberato.
One evening in 1967, rancher Liberato Anibal Quintero.
I'm there. What is he ranch?
It seems
Camel?
just horror.
Oh, okay.
So he fell asleep much earlier than normal and suddenly woke with the premonition that something was about to happen to him.
Whoa.
He felt a powerful compulsion to exit his home, and when he did, he noticed a brilliant light swooping down from the sky and coming right for him.
It's coming right for you.
He threw himself to the ground and watched in shock as an egg-shaped metallic object landed nearby.
And outstepped Mork from Orc.
Nanu,
nanu, he said.
He threw himself to the ground and watched in shock as humanoids came out of the entrance. He wanted to flee, but he found himself immobilized in fear.
Look,
the ETs
he
once
is
again
cowardly, like Ernest from Ernest when he was scared stupid. Ha 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 ha.
These ETs also rush up to him and pull him aboard. The man passes out, and when he woke up, he found that he had been undressed and 3 female ETs were attempting to have intimate relations with him. After about 3 hours, the ETs gave him a strange drink, which brought his energy back.
Wow. What?
And they let him off of the craft.
Get him the fuck juice. Bring the human the fuck juice. This is 100% this guy lying because he went out and had a bender and probably got laid and is just lying.
He then tells his wife all of this, who is kind. And it doesn't say, but I assume believes him. And there
it's
were
either that or have another argument.
There was an investigation, and supposedly this investigation found traces of where the craft had landed. They mean no harm to us. The encounter of Wayne Farquhar.
Farquhar.
We're going to say Farquhar.
I like it.
1978.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, a security guard, woke up in a smoky red light. Came into the room of his home in South Wales, Australia. A beam of light came through the ceiling, targeted his infant daughter in his crib. In her crib. I guess it is owned by the dad, though, so this is...
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to give ownership of the crib to the daughter. It has been decreed in the court of Werewolf Radar. A light came through the ceiling, targeting the infant daughter in her crib, and he passed out upon seeing this.
Oh.
Wakening the next morning, everything was normal, but a few months later, Wayne woke one night to find he was no longer in his bedroom. Instead, he was laying on a metal exam table being examined by a man who looked human, but clearly wasn't. He passes out from the sight. A second similar encounter occurred a few years later, only this time after passing out, Wayne awoke to discover that he was inside a 4-seater UFO zooming through space.
Okay.
I'm picturing like a sedan overall.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Picturing through space, and he's like in a human seat because humans can't take the forces yet, so we have to be secure in our little, human
it's like a
seat.
car seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. What's playing on the radio?
Probably the Wiggles, because they think humans really love the Wiggles.
Sure. I guess it would be like the #1 song from Earth of all time or something. So it would be like Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells.
Most humans have a favorable response to this song. Shall we play Humanity's
birthday to you?
Just on repeat.
Please don't do this. But this is the most popular song per capita. At least once per year, every human enjoys this particular song. Okay.
So this second one No, years after the four-seater incident,
Right.
he saw a star-like UFO, flashed his light at it, and it drove down to him to have a face-to-face encounter with two gray humanoids.
I'm ready.
The next one, the onboard UFO encounter of Antonio Conte, entitled Invited. 1978, once again, a woodcutter had his car fail and the doors opened by themselves. To his shock, a glowing sphere-shaped craft sat on the road in front of him. An opening appeared in the side of the craft, and short humanoids in copper-colored metallic jumpsuits came out and gestured for Antonio to come on board. Yeah. Sensing a friendly kindness to their eyes, he climbed inside the craft and saw that it was filled with strange-looking electronic gadgets and weird screens. The ETs began to undress him, urging him to put on one of their metallic suits. This filled Antonio with fear, and he begged them to let him go.
Yeah, you don't want to put on the suit, huh?
The ETs gave him a small, black, box-shaped object and let him out of the craft. Antonio kept this object and hid it in his home. Although his family and the police believed him, the people of his village ridiculed him.
Why do people keep doing this? Why do people get this object from the aliens and then they hide it?
Because of the ridicule.
Well, use it on them. Destroy them.
Open the box in their general direction and vaporize them.
Yeah, the magnesium rod, you know that thing was a fucking laser gun.
Messages from the ETs. I have two more of these and then we'll go into a little addendum.
Yeah.
The onboard UFO encounter of Roger R. 1989. April 29th. A 10-year-old from Orlando, Florida woke up to see 4 gray-type aliens in his bedroom. They placed him on a levitating platform and floated him into the craft outside of his home. Inside, they physically examined him and then proceeded to hold a long interactive conversation with him, telling him that humans first came from Mars.
Okay.
And that people live many lifetimes, and that his father was also a contactee. And that our government has ET bodies in their possession. Quite the heavy fucking conversation for this 10-year-old. Like the aliens all like sits at the foot of his bed and be like, come here and sit on Uncle Gray's knees. I got some conspiracy theories to tell you.
Sit upon my leg bent area, as in the television stories of old. I will be the grandfather to your grandson. I will be the old white guy to your Webster.
I get the telling him that humans came from Mars. You'd be like, let me tell you the story of your people that you have forgotten. That's a fun little one. Maybe even saying that you come from a line of contactees, you know, telling him the father is. But then going left field and going, the government's got our bodies and we need to get them back.
That's a weird one.
That's the weirder out of all. Everything else is normal. That's what type of world we live in, Jordan. We're like, I'm used to that. We came from Mars.
Now, my brother claims that his son said something weird about Mars one time when he was very young.
Ooh.
Where he was like, that planet died a long time ago. And it was in one of those weird kind of moments of, what did you just say?
I mean, he's not wrong. It used to be I think, confirmed a living planet.
What? No, it had water.
It had water. It had a magnetosphere, which it does not have anymore, which unfortunately people thinking we can just easily colonize Mars. No. We can live here on Earth because we have a magnetosphere that protects us from the sun.
Magnetosphere.
Something that Mars does not have, and everyone who goes to Mars will die of radiation poisoning.
And you never will have it, Mars. You hear that?
But in theory, Mars had water.
I'm sorry, Mars. I want
to
normalize relations with Mars.
I do believe it had a stable enough tectonosphere, or what am I trying to say? continent shelf to where it wouldn't be like totally destructive. Like organisms, cells could grow. There could have been some bacteria that could have grown. I'm not sure about full life, but
about 5 billion years ago, if there was a technology, roughly, let's say 1919 level technology on Mars, and something happened and the planet's surface was liquefied into molten rock, and then over many billions of years
still, yeah,
reformed and cooled, solidified, the water redistributed to the poles,
sure,
and now we barely know.
Well, that's happened to Earth many times. And we don't have the rock samples on Mars, but I don't think a bulk of that rock is igneous rock. Is that the one, the volcanic rock? Igneous rock. Anyway, we should do an episode on just Mars one day. Both facts and theories.
Get your ass to Mars.
So anyway, this guy's all like, this 10-year-old dude.
This fucking dude.
Said we came from Mars. Lifetimes of contactees going back generations. He was then taken to a craft where he saw strange maps, rooms filled with animals unknown to Earth, and then was taken back. And for weeks after, they were visited by a man in black and black helicopters over their home countless times.
You hate to see it.
Now, we don't really get with this whole there's absolute cures for things, you know? But I got one for you here. Cured of depression. The onboard encounter of Jade.
Oh, okay.
Jade in 1990 was a 16-year-old who had a fight with his parents that left him once again badly depressed. He had recently been hospitalized for his depression and was having much trouble with it. He decided to visit his girlfriend, but she wasn't home and neither was another friend. Upset, he was walking home when he became disoriented and suddenly realized that his location had changed.
Oh, he's in New York. It's the secret level.
Watch it. She will come out of the television. It is a television inside of my dream while I was playing video games on the television. Do not hit A at the television without the Vorpal sword, of course, brought to you by the Dream Sword from Monstroko. So where was I on that? That dream just shakes me. I was brought there.
I shouldn't have brought you there. I'm sorry.
He decided to go visit his girlfriend, then a friend after she wasn't home, he wasn't home. Walking home, he realized that his location had suddenly changed, and not only that, his depression seemed to be completely gone. In the weeks that followed, he began having dreams and flashbacks of a UFO hovering overhead that night. He soon remembered being taken on board, meeting and communicating with Gray-type extraterrestrials, and undergoing an examination. This encounter had a profound effect on him, and they never seemed to suffer from that level of depression again. So there you go. The unsolicited medical advice from Werewolf Radar. If you got depression, just get abducted by an alien.
Abducted? Boy, I wish they would do that to me. Fix my brain. God, can you imagine? That would be rad. They like scoop out your busted brain and regrow you a new one from like the base DNA.
So Jordan, you might now be asking,
how do I get one of these new brains?
That and
definitely.
How do you tell if you've been abducted? Well, I have 6 signs that you've been abducted by aliens. This was written with research from a few places, some clairvoyants, some Cambridge Institute of Astronomy professors, speaking on statistics, not the fact of alien abductees.
Right. Like they do.
And let's go into it. It's by Matt Atherton, the deputy news editor. Number 1. If you've been abducted by aliens, you might have bumps under the skin.
I mean, I thought those were nipples.
Aliens leave little, tiny implants in human skin.
Ah, yes, I've seen these.
So we're talking like a little, not a nipple-sized bump, but kind of maybe like a little insect bite style bump.
A little crunchy bump.
Little crunchy guy. It results in small, unusual bumps appearing under the skin. They might be barely visible and simply the size of a grain of rice, even smaller. Mr. Kinsella, who is a clairvoyant, says sometimes they're very tiny, very small, and they have a kind of very hard, not metallic, but kind of a strange structure.
Kind of a strange structure, huh? Not metallic?
They appear in X-rays.
Okay.
The next...
So we're looking for something strange and non-metallic that appears in an X-ray.
That appears in X-rays. It's also itchy. If you got itchiness in one spot, could be a sign you've been abducted if there's a bump there. Nosebleeds.
I've had one.
You've had one? Could be you could have been abducted the day prior.
Are there any other explanations for nosebleeds?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's your cocaine use. I think you're pretty good on that. And if anything, you should be doing more in the morning.
There you have it. There you have it. Cocaine is good for you. And you only get a nosebleed if you've been abducted.
A number of alien abductees claim that they have severe nosebleeds immediately after their probing. We're talking the moment you get your consciousness back or your freedom. Some of them, according to Mr. Kinsella, last for 2 years. Just constant nosebleeds.
That's weird and upsetting.
Very much so. Like it clears up for maybe like less than 24 hours and just right back to pouring out.
Yeah, that stinks.
Number three, strange memories. A few of the alien abductee stories curated by the YouTuber Preston Dennett, please check them out once again, had this phenomenon in there. Strange memories. You might have been abducted by aliens if subtle random memories start creeping back into your mind. Some abductees are so traumatized by the experience that their brains block it from their memories. Sounds legit. I think I'm one of those individuals whose mind would break and I would just go like, I don't remember that. That did not happen. What are you talking about? And then as I fall asleep each night, I scream at the gray fingers taking my clothes off. But some fractured memories could come forward if they're drawn, surface deep from the subconscious mind to the conscious. You might even feel like their memories are so real that you will actually feel them.
Yeah.
This one, a very common, the fourth or fifth one, I already lost track of where I was in the count. Missing time. This, of course, we all talk about regularly. It is that you get abducted and you're missing several hours of time, or in the case of the Bermuda Triangle, where the plane was supposed to take like 3 hours to get back to Miami, and it got there in like 90, and they're like, we're missing some time here. It should have, by all accounts, taken much longer.
Or the one where the plane was supposed to take 90 minutes and it took 30 years.
Yeah, shit like that. All sorts of crazy stuff. And they were all like, their beards were extra long.
And everybody on it was like dressed old fashioned, and they were like smoking on the plane. They were like, oh, try the salmon salad sandwich. I don't know why they talk like ghosts. That's one of the mysteries of what happened to the plane.
The last one, and then I'll pass the speaking skull, which I forgot to open, so it's your problem soon, Jordan.
I'm ready.
Psychic powers.
Okay. Do you have them?
Mr. Kinsella
Follow me.
said an alien encounter could open up victims' minds and even spark psychic powers. Researchers previously revealed a link between higher levels of paranormal beliefs and self-reporter psychic powers.
Oh.
Kinsella said people will also have their minds opened or another aspect of their mind open. So I became psychic. So did they investigate that? That is a direct, insane quote from Mr. Kinsella. People will also have their minds opened or another aspect of their mind open, period. So I became psychic, period. So did they investigate that? A cryptic ending for a nice little listicle I found from themirror.co.uk. Have you been abducted? Have you experienced any of these? Do you have psychic powers?
Is it triggering to talk about? We don't care. Tell us anyway.
Tell us in the comments, cowards.
Coward. Just kidding.
No, we respect your experiences, and if you would like to share them ever, please hit us up on our website at the Contact Us tab of our website, werewolfradar.com. And if you are so kind, we would love to share your experience. When we get enough.
Thought he was abducted.
Who?
I had a friend who thought he was abducted. You don't know.
I don't?
He lives in Canada.
Oh, goes to a different school in Canada. Tell me more. Any of those?
I don't know. We don't really keep in touch very much anymore, but I remember he was pretty convinced about it. And people who are convinced about it are pretty terrified to talk about it. It seems to be a very harrowing experience.
I think I'd be the same. For something, if I started getting flooded back with horrific visions of an experiment that I can't understand and it's distressing, I would keep that on the back burner of all times, if not in the darkest parts of my freezer, in my mind freezer, you know.
Cool.
Kind of like this Amish friendship bread I'm scared to make.
In the mind freezer?
It keeps growing if I don't put it in the freezer.
May I have the speaking skull?
Yeah, take the skull. It's I vented it a little bit. It shouldn't be as hot as it normally would be when I forget.
Seems relatively stable today. I'm gonna talk to you about the DSV Alvin sea serpent sighting.
There's another thing, the sea. We just recently talked about a sea creature.
Yeah, we were talking about the US or the Deep Star 1000
4,000
fish sighting. Yeah, they never heard from 1,000 again. This is another one that I stumbled across completely by accident that led to something more that I want to discuss with you, which is living dinosaurs. But first, we're going to read about the DSV Alvin sea serpent sighting, which occurred during a deep sea dive off the Bahamas. Please enter steel drum sound right now. According to one of the alleged eyewitnesses, this happened in 1965, by the way.
Okay, kind of the
swinging 60s.
It was a hot time for a lot of stuff. We have, I think,
the
in terms.
Would you like to go on a submersible submarine ride?
Everyone thinks the 60s was all about that space race, you know, getting to different planets, getting to the moon.
And some of it was. We went to all of the planets.
We did. Look into our research at werewolfradar.com/crackpot theories.
The sun we went to.
But everyone forgets that like the 60s was also that time of like, oh no, we went into the ocean as well. Like we learned a lot about the things in the ocean.
Go forth, humanity, and spread thy curiosities to the deep sea. That was JFK said that.
Mm-hmm.
According to one of the alleged eyewitnesses, submersible pilot Marvin McCamus, the animal was a reptilian longneck. It has subsequently been described as a possible living plesiosaur and is sometimes referred to as the Alvin plesiosaur because of the DSV
A
Alvin.
reptile down deep sea is what that deep sea vehicle, right? So
Well,
we're
now,
talking.
I believe plesiosaurs were considered reptiles, much like pterosaurs were flying reptiles. Plesiosaurs, I think, were also reptilian, as opposed to theropods or sauropods. Background. Alleged eyewitness Marvin McCamus, who died in 2004, and Bill Ranney, who died in 1985, were engineers who designed and originally piloted Alvin, a prolific deep-sea submersible which first went to sea in 1965 in the Bahamas. The sea serpent was allegedly seen by both men during one of these early test drives in the tongue of the ocean. Don't know where that is, which is a very deep stretch of water separating the islands of Andros and New Providence.
I do know that area has like a crazy continental shelf. Like you can see the sand and it's not that deep, and then all of a sudden just like 20,000 feet deep.
Crazy. Did you ever play what is it? What's the one? Subnautica.
No, I'm scared. Is that my baby horror I'm looking for?
Yeah, maybe. It's fucking at times deeply terrifying, but in that deep sea kind of way.
Nice.
And it's manageable if you go slowly. You don't go in with you rarely go into those areas without any sort of tools to navigate them correctly. At least that would be my advice. Don't go there. You don't want to get attacked. Just don't go there until you have the right stuff. Continuing on. This is the sighting. This is from cryptidarchives.fandom.com. Doing the good work out there. Early reports of the Alvin sea serpent were highly laconic, which means I googled it. Using very few words of a person's style or speech of writing. Speech or writing. So basically they didn't make a big fuss about it, apparently. Highly laconic.
How would you not? Sorry.
McCamus was originally quoted as saying, quote, "Then I see this monster or something. I turned around sharply and it's gone. Kind of shook me up. This was a living creature. I've seen at least 40 or 50 foot of it." McCamus later gave a detailed description of this monster to the Fortean researcher Charles Berlitz, who referred to it in several of his books, always giving the year of the sighting as 1969. Incorrect, apparently. Berlitz published McCamus's first-hand account in his book, Without a Trace. Here is that account.
Account.
This is from McCamus. We were about 5,000 feet, and then I went down into a crevasse about 300 feet deeper under a slight outcrop. We went deeper because the cable we were following spanned the crevasse. It was right there that I spotted it. The first thing I noticed was the movement. I thought we were moving along the cable and checked for drift, but found that the sub was stationary and that it was the object that was moving. It then occurred to me that perhaps it was a utility pole, especially because of its thick shape. I swung the sub in an arc to get a better view along the cable or pole or whatever it was, when I was astonished to see a thick body with flippers, a long neck, a snake-like head with two eyes looking right at us. It looked like a big lizard with flippers. It had two sets of them. Then it swam upwards with its back turned before we could get the cameras angled. They were set to photograph 15 to 25 feet in front of the submarine, and the thing had already swum out of the camera angle, but was still around. I didn't like the way things were happening, so I came up. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but I didn't want to hang around. Wow. Scary.
Very crazy. It's such a mysterious part. I think this area is also where the movie The Abyss takes place. Like there's just so much shit that can be at this this bizarre continental shelf that just drops down, you know, and then it's just darkness, lights never touched it. Who knows what weird creatures are down here that glow?
Really. McCamus recorded this sighting in the submersible's wet log, but was later told that the passage had been removed from the final version, and with no proof of what he saw, he became hesitant to talk about his sighting. One of Berlitz's colleagues, J. Manson Valentine, an entomologist and artist interested in, quote, esoteric archaeology, drew a plesiosaur for McCamus, who identified it as exactly what he saw. In 1999, cryptozoologist Scott Marty contacted McCamus, who confirmed the sighting, but claimed that Berlitz got the date wrong. According to him, the observation occurred around July 1965, not 1969, a year in which Alvin was out of commission. So there you go. There was an examination. Possible identity of a long-necked sea serpent has long been a subject of debate, with most cryptozoologists identifying it as a giraffe-necked pinniped, and a minority favoring the older relict plesiosaur theory. Carl Schucker describes the Alvin sighting as, quote, very valuable due to the credentials of the alleged eyewitnesses.
This is very, one of the more credible sea serpent, Loch Ness, or not Loch Ness monster, but sea serpent, water serpent. Yeah.
Because the animal because the entire animal was seen underwater, as opposed to most long neck sightings, which generally feature only a head and neck periscoping above the surface of the sea. Schucker, who has argued in favor of a plesiosaurian identity for longnecks, describes the appearance of the Alvin sea serpent as, quote, undeniably very reminiscent of a plesiosaur, and regards the sighting as, quote, one of the most compelling reports in favor of the reality of a marine cryptid potentially allied to the plesiosaur. That's one way to put it. So there you go. That is the deep submersible vehicle Alvin sea serpent sighting that occurred off the coast of the Bahamas in 1965. This, of course, had me clicking links. I was clicking blue words in this article like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, hell yeah.
Click, clack, clickety clack.
What other long neck serpents are there? What's the tongue of the ocean? Bahamas.
Submarine? So this did lead me to the Living Dinopedia wiki.
Nice.
Which is a different, perhaps dustier corner of fandom.com.
I don't know if they're on there, but in terms of what I understand as modern dinosaurs, I think number one for me, fucking the ossuary.
Oh, who's that?
That's that big ass, I think, Australian bird that is basically just what the Velociraptor became.
Yes, I know this guy. Yes. They are romantically attracted to human beings.
That's because they stare into her eyes and they see a soul that needs comforting.
They also have forward-facing eyes. And they're like, I see you have forward-facing eyes. I have forward-facing eyes too. Okay, so sightings in North America. That's right, folks. Living dinids in North America. Tell me if you've seen them. Tell me if you haven't. Tell me if you want to. Tell me if you'd eat one. I think I would.
Yes to everything.
History. The Native Americans have legends of monsters and creatures that may be dinosaurs. One, the Thunderbird, was sighted by settlers in 1800s. Many sightings continue to this day. Here's a list of such creatures. Champ. Lake monster, thought to be a plesiosaur. We know about Champ. We love Champ.
Champy's great. Champy's the American hero that we need in this time.
Lake Champlain. The Thunderbird. Bort. A creature of legend thought to be a pterosaur. Sightings continued into the 1800s. Pterosaur sightings are reported in the North America today.
I do think that one is just some big ass birds. People don't realize how big some birds get.
Yeah, and the pterosaur theory seems to be a real footnote to Thunderbird, but don't worry, we get into some good ones here. Like this, river dinos. You ever heard of river dinos?
No.
These ones are fun. There's actually a pretty terrible picture if you'd like me to share my screen.
I'm sorry. I always forget to give other people the ability to share for moments like this. You're good to do it now.
Great.
Let's see the bird.
Oh, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it first.
River dinosaur, sorry.
Been many little-known sightings of small theropod-like reptiles commonly seen in or near rivers. Do you know what a theropod is?
I do. That's that a brontosaurus gentleman.
That's a sauropod. Theropod is the
the duck-bill dinosaur.
No, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is a theropod.
Oh damn! I just really disappointed 8-year-old Roger.
I think duck-billed is a theropod actually. Yeah, I think the 2-legged ones are theropods and the 4-legged ones are sauropods. I think that's the idea, but I could be wrong. Prove me wrong, children. Prove me wrong. Okay. So these are often called by names like river dinos, river lizards, prairie devils, and mini rexes by the locals. They've been reported across the country with most sightings in and around Colorado.
That's where I don't live, but am very familiar with. I can tell you the weather in that state for no real reason.
Here's an alleged picture of one. It's very pixelated, very zoomed in. This would be roaring. You can see its mouth on one end.
Oh, yeah.
You can kind of picture how that might go down. Here's also a photoshopped picture of a guy having killed one. Looks pretty realistic to me. There you go. That's the river dino. But this one is intriguing to me, and I don't really know why.
To see anything like that move, I mean, I'm going through the list. It wouldn't be a deer. We're in Ohio or Oklahoma.
Somewhat similar to a Compsognathus, apparently. 3-foot-tall bipedal lizards.
Yeah, they're the ones in Jurassic Park 3 that eat the child at the beginning.
Anyway, there you go. That's the river dinos portion. Next up, the Oklahoma raptor, a dromaeosaur.
This is crazy.
Dinosaurs, commonly known as raptors, may be responsible for some cryptid sightings like the Georgia raptor. So they're seeing them in Oklahoma, they're seeing them in Georgia, who knows? Ogopogo, you know about Ogopogo?
I know about Ogopogo just a little bit. I can never place where they are from proper, but Ogopogo is
It's Canada.
Okay.
Canada. It's like a Loch Ness monster type guy.
Gotcha.
Oklahoma raptor. They got raptors there. Oh, we already said that one. Sorry. Cadborosaurus is kind of a sea monster that's been sighted on the west coast, thought to be a plesiosaur. Flathead lake monster. You know it. You love it. Another plesiosaur. Florida sea monster. A sea monster thought to be a mosasaur, which is quite frightening. It's just called the Florida sea monster, huh? Okay. Mexican dinosaur figurines. Now, we know about these, but they've been largely proven to be fake. In 1944, a German businessman, Waldemar Julsrud, familiar with artifacts of the ancient Native Americans in the area, found some artifacts like he had never seen before that looked even older. He made a deal with a local farmer. He would pay 1 peso for every unbroken piece. 20,000 were found, each different from the other due to being handcrafted. Some are faces, idols, musical instruments, etc. Others are of dinosaurs, including sauropods, stegosaurus, triceratops, ceratosaurus, iguanodon, and tyrannosaurus. At first thought to be faked, but dating and others have been found 33,000 in all. But dating and others have been found 33,000 in all.
I love this story. Just some guy, some farmer who's into carving. Mm-hmm. And some German man who is so deep in the sauce in this narrative.
Yeah.
And the farmer's all like,
these?
1 peso for one of these, huh?
Yeah.
All right, here's 20,000 of them.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Making them on a nightly basis to be like, what is
Yeah.
Papa doing? He's making us money, and don't question where he gets it.
Yeah. Many of the dinosaurs and humans are shown together. Many in non-violent, non-hunting situations, as if domesticated, and some even appear to be pets.
That would be cool, man. Like real Flintstone life. Like, it didn't happen. I'm sorry. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble.
Yeah.
Humans never lived along dinosaurs, but God, I wish we did.
The Altamahaha is a lake monster that lives in a network of small streams near the Altamahaha River in Georgia. It's described as having a sturgeon-like body, swims like a dolphin, having a crocodile-like snout, and a gray to whitish yellow underbelly.
Ooh, one of them, a homunculi or chimera type, 3 different creatures grafted together.
It kind of reminds me of some of those ancient kind of crocodile-beaked dolphin guys that you see. Or something like that. The Turtle Lake Monster, thought to be a plesiosaur. The Wallowa Lake Monster, thought to be a plesiosaur. Tahoe Tessie, you guessed it, she's a plesiosaur. Alaska and Siberia dinosaurs, said to have been sighted here in the 1900s. From 1923 to 1956, there were Alaska and Siberian dinosaur sightings. The Bear Lake Monster, a lake monster, which some of the sightings are thought to be a mosasaur. What's the mosasaur?
Quickly, to the internet.
Yeah. See, this is kind of the guy I was thinking of.
Bring him up.
Yeah, this would be a mosasaur.
Oh, that's a perfect kind of description of that previous monster or river dino that I forgot the name on. Yeah, thank you.
Ultimaha.
And how do you even come up with that without seeing that, you know?
I know, right?
Like, the human imagination is great. Don't get me wrong, we use it all the time.
I'm using it right now.
You're using it right now, but like to describe that creature without being able to see that creature first as a basis, I think they saw it.
Yeah, that's pretty strange. The Unktehi, a creature of legend thought to be an ankylosaur.
That's the one with the ball on the back that has spikes sometimes.
It's from Sioux legends. Yes. Situate Harbor Monster, a corpse of a creature thought to be a plesiosaur. Leelanau, a lake monster thought to have been a plesiosaur. Sightings were rare and have stopped completely, showing the population in the lake may be gone. Manipogo, another plesiosaur-like. Then we have the New York pterosaur, a group of pterosaurs seen in the tragic 9/11 attack.
I'm sorry, that's my favorite thing right now. Are you telling me?
People, here it is. During the
George
9/11
Bush
attack, pictures of what appeared to be pterosaurs were taken. Several were taken by one man during the tragedy itself and one by a different man. The former image was taken near the wreckage. These have also been compared to the cryptid Mothman. And I'm going to show you the pictures in question here.
Oh, yeah, you need to. This is me and my lady text each other 9/11 memes every 9/11. And you know this is going to be thrown in there.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I'm going to put never for gore the Terradors.
Yep. So there you have it. That's the supposed New York pterosaur that had something to do with 9/11. I think we're being led to believe.
I'm pretty sure it caused it. I'm pretty sure George Bush capitulated to the pterosaurs and sacrificed 3,000 to 4,000 Americans that day, so we all wouldn't be devoured.
There's mountain boomers, which is a theropod said to live in Texas. The Monterey Bay sea monster, that's near San Francisco. There's supposed to be a small plesiosaur that lives in the bay there. Or no, not San Francisco would it be? It would be like the Monterey Bay sea monster is a creature nicknamed Bobo. In 1925, a carcass washed up on the beach. Scientists said it was a plesiosaur. He thought it had been frozen millions of years before and was washed up on the beach when the ice melted. It had rotted for weeks before he or any other scientists arrived. In addition to the carcass, there are other sightings. I'm not familiar with the Monterey Bay sea monster. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, please do. That can be a future episode for sure.
Memphrey, a lake monster that lives in Memphremagog, Quebec, Canada. It is often described as whale or plesiosaur-like. The Minnesota pterosaur.
Ooh!
This is a pterosaur that was said to be seen by a man on his way to work in Minnesota.
Did you stop and take a photo of it? No, I had to go to work.
I had to get to work. Yeah, they laughed at me too, but I know what I seen out there. It was a pterosaur, a flying reptile from the age of dinosaurs. Georgia raptor, a dromaeosaur, said to have been sighted in Georgia. Interesting. The Georgia raptor is a Troodon, said to have been sighted in Georgia in July of 2008. An 18-year-old man and his grandfather were hunting deer at night in Georgia when they saw an animal which they described as closely resembling a raptor from the popular Jurassic Park movies. It has been suggested that it might have actually been a Troodon.
That truly is a fear of mine, that those guys specifically still exist and can hunt like they do in the movies.
It's pretty spooky. The Black Dragon Canyon petroglyphs. In Black Dragon Canyon, a carving of a pterosaur can be seen, from which the canyon's name comes. Oh, interesting.
Where at again? I'm sorry.
Black Dragon Canyon petroglyphs.
Black Dragon Canyon.
I'm gonna look it up because there's no picture here.
Yeah. I'll have all this for the YouTube or edit around it, but I'll find your image. Give me 3 weeks and 50 stout men.
I'll land your image. This is the Black Dragon Canyon petroglyph, which, yeah, I see what you're saying.
We got some similarities on there too.
I can see the beak. This is interesting.
Yeah, you got that pterodon or pterosaur crest at the top of the head. I also see pissed off goose. Have you ever pissed off a goose, Jordan?
Yeah. There were geese that lived at the end of our driveway, and it was a constant struggle. Yeah,
horrific. You know about them. I can see humanity across the ages being terrified of these beasts. Definitely worthy of a cave wall.
Yeah, metal knot with the battle goose of yore. Kachina Bridge dinosaur petroglyphs, drawings of dinosaurs from a different place. The Utah Anasazi drawing, which is a drawing of a sauropod, Civil War pterosaur. A pterosaur said to have been shot and photographed during the Civil War.
Crazy.
Yeah, the photo is very fake. The photo was from Freaky Links. Do you remember that TV show?
Barely.
Ankylosaur horned toads. In West Mexico, a horned toad figurine was found, said to be the mythical horned toad. It actually resembles an Ankylosaurus. So there you go, folks. Those are just some of the dinosaurs that have been spotted in North America by crazy and non-crazy people. So, Roger, what do you think people are seeing? Do you think these are relic organisms, or do you think we're talking time slips or the ghosts of dinosaurs?
All things are open for the most part here on Werewolf Radar. You know, we can find a possibility of anything. The world we live in is large and mysterious. In terms of what I think this could be, I'm not a fan of the time slip theory. I'm more a believer of undiscovered breeding population or misidentification. So I think a bulk of these might be, I think, undiscovered populations.
Okay.
Some the water ones, especially that Atiawawa.
Okay.
I might have pronounced that wrong.
Oh, the Atamahaha.
Atamahaha. I could see that one. Just, they don't need to come up, so they've just been chilling in their cave and just they've been surviving. No need to change. The one that really stuck out was that Alvin plesiosaur, the deep sea.
Yeah, that one's pretty
Alvin.
wild.
Yeah, DSV Alvin.
Yeah,
that's the one that's like and they did it a proper way to where like they mentioned it and know were they able to grab corroborating evidence, so they did not harp on it like science would dictate, to be like, I saw it but I don't have evidence for it, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But in no way did the stories truly contradict the facts, other than some maybe telephone communication error in the game sense, to where the years got switched from 65 to 69. But there's some errors in that as well. I think these are somewhat believable. I think these are
pretty
creatures.
Weird. Pretty strange stuff.
And even if it isn't a plesiosaur, man, like it's still reason enough to go like, we don't know what's down in that water.
Yeah.
Our flashlights don't go down that deep.
Strange things. But
And that's what side I'm on.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. I agree with Roger on this, that any number of explanations could be possible for the staggering number of dinosaurs seen every day by people in America. I think, look to your left, look to your right. One of the people you just looked at is a dinosaur. If you've seen a dinosaur, please reach out to us. If you think you've seen one, we won't mock you. We will mock one another at your behest.
Mm-hmm.
If you know where to get a dinosaur, please let us know. If you know where I can eat a dinosaur, I'll come out and say it. And I don't want any of this fucking, we made gray wolves and then it ends up just being, or we made dire wolves, it ends up just being a gray wolf with like manipulated genes. I want you to give me a chicken without a beak and be like, it's a dinosaur. I want a dinosaur. I want to see the scales.
Yeah, we want full genetic dinosaur, not none of this half-ass bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Unless indeed they had feathers.
This CRISPR nonsense you're trying to throw at us.
We want the good shit. The shit from Georgia. The shit from Ohio or something. Omaha. I don't know. I forgot.
A lot of that is the middle of the country that I think is somewhat civilized, if you will, like cities all over, big urban sprawl, to where it really is just suburb next to suburb.
Yeah.
And here we are with like, nah, man, we got fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Just somewhere.
Somewhere. They're out there. Here's a tennis racket. Good luck. Folks, thank you for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. We appreciate you. We love you. We love it when you give us 5 stars. We love it when you check out our YouTube channel. We love it when you join our Discord. And we love it especially when you go to patreon.com/Werewolf Radar and check out our Patreon offerings. You can get an extra episode most weeks. You can get access to sweet merch with art that I've drawn and more. Go check it out. Especially if you liked what we did here today. Yeah. Especially if you didn't like it. Go check it out and hate support us.
Actually, hate support us on YouTube.
Yes, please. But
that's the best place to hate support
only
us.
Thumbs up.
In the comments, I suggest you argue with yourself.
Yes. We will be back next week for more tomfoolery, I imagine. Until then, please join us in our sign-off line, as we do every week, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Punch
the sky, Spaceman Joe.